From 2004 to 2005, Apple saw the iPod market share more than double from 31 to 65%. In holiday quarter 2003, the company sold about 730,000 iPods. A year later, for holiday 2004, it sold 4.5 million. That's an increase of 500%. That's crazy growth, and it can really be tracked down to one small device. Today, I want to talk about the iPod mini. So let's go back to January 2004. At Macworld that year, Steve Jobs said that they were going after the high-end flash market. Now these players were all pretty similar. They had crummy user experiences, pretty bad battery life, and only held about 60 songs. Now the price point was compelling at about $199. To combat all of this, Apple brought out a hard drive-based music player. It could hold 1,000 songs in your pocket, just like the original iPod, with a user experience that was excellent.
This amazing little device holds 1,000 songs, and it goes right in my pocket.
Instead of just releasing a repurposed white iPod, Apple built a whole new music player. It came with a brand new design with curved edges. It was just half an inch thick and about the size of a business card, making it notably more portable than the iPod itself. To make the iPod mini's small size possible, Apple invented the click wheel. Before this, iPods had their control buttons and their scrolling separate. So you had the scroll wheel, which allowed you to move through the menus or back and forth through your music. They were separate from the buttons like menu, play, pause, forward, and back. The click wheel combined those things. You still scrolled around on the touch wheel, but when you got to one of the edges, so like north, south, east, or west, you would press down and the wheel would sort of click over. It would depress and engage the button. It was an extremely clever design and one we all recognize today because it came to define the iPod for years to come. Perhaps even more influential than the click wheel, however, is that the iPod mini came in colors. You could get it in silver, but it was also available in gold and green and pink and in blue. And people got really excited about this. For the first time, a piece of technology was also a fashion item. The iMac G3 had introduced this with its 13 different colors over the course of its lifetime, but the iPod mini really popularized it. In fact, today we're still used to it, right? You go buy an iPhone, you pick between a couple of colors. If you buy an iPad or a MacBook or a MacBook Pro, the anodized aluminum, the same thing they're doing now, started with the iPod mini. And then there's the Apple Watch. The case is available in a bunch of different finishes, and you can strap basically any band you want to onto it. We're used to customization, we're used to fashion being part of a technology, and the iPod mini was ground zero for that. In February 2005, Apple updated the iPod mini. The second generation brought a couple of things to the table. The 4GB model was cheaper, now at just $199, while the 6GB model, a new SKU, took over the $249 price point. The colors were changed up a little bit too. Gold was discontinued, and the green, pink, and blue became more vibrant and more colorful. This is hard to see unless you have both generations side by side, but there's totally a difference. The other way to tell the difference is that the second generation iPod minis buttons on the click wheel are colored to match the case. So you have a green iPod, you have green buttons. The first gen, all the buttons were gray on the click wheel. Like the model before it, the second gen iPod mini sold very well. It was extremely successful. You saw these things everywhere in 2004, 2005. People ran with them, people took them to the gym. Even though they were not that great of a deal, like gigabyte per dollar, it was expensive compared to the full-size iPod. People were really drawn to its smaller size and its sort of approachability. It was an adorable music player. However, just 8 months after the second gen was announced, Steve Jobs got on stage in September 2005 and claimed that the iPod mini was the most popular iPod in the world, making it the most popular MP3 player in the world. And then just a few sentences later, he killed it.
Well, today we're going to do something pretty bold. Today we're going to replace it. We're going to replace it with something new.
By this point, flash technology, the stuff that Apple had gone to replace in 2004, well, the prices had come down and Apple could sell a device using flash at a reasonable price. So the iPod Nano was born. It was crazy thin and crazy light, but that's a story for a different day. But back to the iPod Mini to close this out. The iPod Mini was a huge success. It was the moment when the iPod went from something that music fans wanted to spend $400 or $500 on to a fashion item that anyone could spend $200 on. It really was a huge hit. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Be sure to get subscribed. We do Apple history and technology reviews every couple of weeks here on 512 Pixels. So get subscribed. Be sure to go all 6 GB upgrade on that like button, and I'll see you next time. Adios.